Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. My name is Amista, and I'm here to catch up with some regulars, meet some new people. We're going to add a little something new today. We're going to do some Reiki up front, little tiny micro session, 5 minutes of Reiki for anybody who discovers this video later or who walks in while I'm live. After that, we're going to look at what is our best manifestation advice for the day. And then after that, we'll do some readings for people who are in the room. In the room. In the stream. Right now, we're just clearing the cards to get ready. Getting ready to rock and roll. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Not sure. Do I even have a notification saying I'm going online yet? Yes. Woohoo. Okay. All right, so I am using the vice versa tarot today, so we are going to have some fun with that. I really appreciate this deck. It stretches my psychic abilities a little bit more than some of the other decks, just because it's like twice the cards that a normal deck would have, just because there's no back on these cards. And I'll show you what I mean here. So the deck is cleared. So this is our sun card. That's the front of the card. And then a normal tarot deck, you would have some kind of, the backs would all be the same on every card. But on this card, that side looks like this. Sunset. Noontime, sunset. Maybe sunrise. I guess it kind of depends. Could be either or, right? So anyway, no backs on any of these cards. What we're going to start off with, though, is we're going to start off the way I used to start my live streams. We're going to start by doing 5 minutes of Reiki. For those who come across this video, I'm just getting all my rings off before I do the Reiki, because that's always advised. Sometimes when you're doing Reiki, you can really heat up your rings to the point that they can lose some of their shape. So we don't want to do that. I kind of like my rings the way they are. Some of them have lost their shape just from being banged around on my hand for a while, but they fit my fingers just perfectly. Teresa White, good afternoon, good afternoon. Hello. We're starting with Reiki. I'm getting ready to start right now with Reiki for everybody here. So if you want to receive the Reiki, just say inside your head, or even if you want to say it out loud, I receive that. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make my symbols and we're going to send that out. All right, so we're going to do this for 5 minutes. And then after that, we'll move into tarot reading. Do you know what Reiki even can be used for, Teresa? Thank you for the thumbs up, by the way. It looks like I've peeled an orange with this hand. Isn't that odd? Richard, hello, hello. Welcome. We're doing a little bit of Reiki before we run into the tarot cards. How are you this morning? This afternoon, I should say. Have you been looking for me? Yep, all types of healing. Medical healing, financial healing, relationship healing, emotional healing, mental health healing, all of it. Glad to hear you're doing well. Yes, ma'am. Pain reduction. Yep. We've got somebody, I don't know if they're watching right now, if they're going to be watching later, but they've got something going on with, which side is that? This is going to be the left side of their, I want to say their torso. It's almost like there's something that's like almost in a vertical line on the left side of their torso. I don't even know what that would be. Maybe a muscle. Richard, where are you watching from, honey? We have people that watch from all over. I'm always curious. We're still doing 3 more minutes of Reiki. Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. So I'm going to tell you, I am terrible for remembering names or faces. So you're going to have to tell me. You said you found me. Had I told you about this channel before? Were you looking for me? Or do you say that every time you walk into a live stream somewhere? Just to throw the host or the hostess off. I found you. I had somebody book a mentoring appointment with me the other day, and I recognized her name, and I could not remember, did I know her name from Facebook, from YouTube? Turned out she met me in the store that I do readings in person. I had no idea. Mila, Mila, hello, hello, welcome. I'm fantastic, my dear. We're starting the stream a little different than usual today. We're doing a little bit of Reiki first, and then after that, we'll go into our normal best advice for manifesting and then answering some questions. Oh, you're being polite. Okay. You had me scrambling in my brain trying to figure out where I knew you from. So that's something about me is that I don't always remember names or faces. And I kinda have this thing because I've disappointed enough people with not remembering them that it does make me kinda scramble a little bit if I think I should remember you from somewhere. Oh, yay. So you know what Reiki is. Woohoo. Michael Nelson. Opinions on Vril. I don't know what Vril is. Where are you watching from, Michael? We're glad to have you here. Welcome, welcome. Boo-ba-da-doo-doo-doo-doo. We've got about 40 more seconds of Reiki before we're done with this. I have pretty good energy when I'm talking to my people. They lift me up. Is there a payment option for a reading appointment? Yes. So you can go to my website and you can pay, and you can use a credit card there. That way you don't have to give me card numbers over the phone. Actually, I can't even take a card over the phone anymore. I think there might have been a little fraud going on out in the world with that. So if you want to use a credit card, you have to pay me on my website. If you want to use Venmo, you can do that, or you can use Cash App, or what's the other one? Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal. I knew there was something else. G Star, hello, hello, welcome. Doing fantastic, my dear. How are you? We're just doing a little bit of Reiki. Actually, we're going to wrap the Reiki up, and then we're going to go into some tarot readings. I used to have Zelle, but I don't have Zelle anymore. People have talked to me into using so many different payment styles, and it all works. It all works. Okay, so let's do my favorite spread to get started. My favorite spread is what is our best manifestation advice over the next 24 hours? So everybody think about what is it you would like to manifest over the next 24 hours? Is it a better relationship? A strong partnership? Is it more success at work? Is it more money, 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 honey? What would you like to manifest? I'm going to shuffle these cards as soon as I finish putting on my rings again. And then we will take a peek at our advice. But be thinking about what you want to manifest, because that will help the advice be tailored to you as well as everybody else. Vril is like Reiki, universal life force energy that permeates all matter and space in the universe. It's also equivalent to chi, ki, or prana in Eastern philosophies. Oh, well, this is my first exposure to it, so I don't have an opinion on it. I can tell you I'm a big gung ho Reiki believer because I've seen Reiki do crazy good stuff. Crazy good stuff. Um, both medically and in people's financial lives as well. Right? I think so too, Teresa. I think so too. I used to only do PayPal, but PayPal took credit cards and PayPal. And then all the young kids had Cash App and Venmo, so I had to switch it out. Not switch it out, but add on. Best manifestation advice. Let me focus. Best manifestation advice for today. For this is advice is going to be good for the next 24 hours. Ooh, thank you. There's 3 thumbs ups on my video already. Thank you, guys. Well, I teach Reiki, and I teach Reiki long distance or here in my home. I can't remember where you are, Teresa White. But if you want to learn Reiki, hit me up with a text message. You can find my phone number on my website, and we'll get you scheduled. Do 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 do. North Carolina. Oh yeah, absolutely. Hit me up. Actually, after I learned Reiki, my very first Reiki class, because I wanted to learn Reiki to teach my mom, because she had really bad arthritis to where it was hard for her to walk. And I wanted her to be able to do Reiki just for herself. My cord's all jacked up, excuse me. Um, and so I was here in Colorado. My mom lives in Missouri. And so my first Reiki class ended up becoming my mom, my friend that I've known since I was 6 years old, and her husband. And we did it all on Skype. It was great. Okay, honey. Have a great day, Richard. Peace out. I might still be here when you get back if you want to see if you get a question answered or a reading. All right, so best manifestation advice. What do we have showing up with first? Look at this. What is this about? We have our Knight of Cups in reverse. This says somebody is feeling kind of pessimistic about relationships in general, or maybe a particular romantic relationship. And so this is interesting. What are we trying to manifest? Are we trying to manifest like getting some closure on a relationship that hasn't worked out? I'm not exactly sure. I would not expect that to show up in advice. We do have the 10 of Pentacles, or I mean, not the 10 of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune, which is the 10 in the major arcana, showing up here. This talks about that it's past time, because this would be the front side, this would be this side, this is the back side, this is nighttime. This is so the front side says this is good timing. So if we're feeling pessimistic about a relationship and like we want to walk away from it, this would say, oh, it's a good time to do that. This says it's past time to do that. We've been a little too loyal. It's time to walk away from that relationship. And look at our outcome. Look at our outcome. Our outcome is payday. It's a payoff. So we can focus more on what we're offering to the world that they want to pay us for, whether that's our side gig or our full-time gig or whatever. So this is really interesting. This is saying basically there's some relationship that we have already seen, like it's not going anywhere. It's rough. It's past time to get out of that relationship. And if we go ahead and make moves towards actually letting go of that, then that has a great payoff for us. I'm sure mentally and emotionally, but also financially when it comes up as the 7 of Pentacles. That's interesting. All right. Anybody in here who would like to get a question answered or a message from Spirit, you can put your question in the chat or just put the words message from Spirit in the chat. I'm still going to be here about another 15 more minutes, and we'll just knock out whatever we can knock out while I'm here. If I don't get to you while I'm here, you can always order a reading from my website. Let's see. Mila. Well, she had all this ready to go. What will be Felipe's response if I ask his thoughts about what I wrote him tonight? Okay, let's see. So we're starting off with a question for Mila. Boop-a-doo. Everybody else, get in line. Put your stuff in the chat so it's ready for me when I'm done with this. Boop-a-doo. What will be Felipe's response if she asks him his thoughts about what she wrote him tonight? Okay, let's ask this, Mila. Is that really what you want to know? Do you really know what he's going to say to you? Or do you want to know really what he thought about what you wrote to him? Because not everybody recognizes their own feelings, first of all, to actually say them. And sometimes even when they recognize them, they don't necessarily say them. If you want to know what he says, I'll be happy to look at that. I just want to make sure we're looking at what you really want to know. What do you really want to know? That's what I tell people all the time when we're working on questions is, okay, think about what do you really want to know? Because a lot of people ask questions that are like right next door to what they want to know. I don't understand that. Teresa has a question as well. So what do you think, Mila? Do you really want to know what he would say, or do you really want to know what he feels about what you wrote to him, or what he thinks about? Because you asked about thoughts. Let me know what direction to go. And then Teresa, I'm going to work on yours while I'm waiting on Mila. What he feels about what she wrote. Okay, never mind. We're back to Mila again. We're switching gears. Switching gears faster than a motorcycle on a hill. All right. Mila, what are Felipe's thoughts about what Mila wrote to him tonight? Let's take a peek. And remember, thoughts are like feelings. They're very transitory. We had a card fall out. I think this is kind of the overall energy. We had a card fall out that is my 3 of Cups in reverse. It's this side, so it's normally the side that you would see. When it's in reverse, it talks about the idea that there's some kind of annoyance. Okay, so I think that generally he saw this message as some kind of an annoyance. All right, because that just fell. It's not really one of the cards that I'm counting, but I just feel like that's overall energy here. Now, look at this. We have a Page of Wands, and this talks about, somebody being excited to see you. Trying to keep this family friendly because I don't have age restrictions on my videos. But, just generally excited to see you in maybe more of a sensual type of way. So there is this excitement here regarding whatever you said. I don't know if that makes sense or not. Not everybody's fetishes necessarily make sense. Let's put it that way. Not saying that that's necessarily a fetish, but trying to give you the idea without being explicit. 6 of Wands coming up in reverse. This basically says, kind of excited because she didn't really appreciate something that I did in the past. This could be that maybe you've even kind of humiliated him about something that he did in the past. This is funny. With the 8 of Wands, I don't know that you're necessarily going to get a response back. I don't know that he knows what to send back to this or if he will respond to it. With that 8 of Wands, it talks about a slowdown in communication. It doesn't talk about cutting you off. I don't think he's blocking you or anything like that. He may not know what to say, or maybe he's just busy, but I don't see a lot of communication coming back. And it's interesting because remember, our overall here was the annoyance. Okay. So the feeling of annoyance. So here's the thing. I don't know if you didn't really appreciate him or if you actually like humiliated him somewhat. He found that to be a turn on. Okay. I think that's where the annoyance is. I think the annoyance is what is wrong with me that I find this to be a turn on. I don't think he's going to tell you that ever, maybe. But he certainly doesn't have much to say right now. If you wrote nice things, mm-mm. Well, if you wrote nice things to him, he feels like you missed something that he did that you don't appreciate. Either way, he's not talking back anytime soon. And either way, he's still attracted to you. I think he was annoyed at something about that message, whether it was his reaction to it or whether it was the message itself, but I think it's more his reaction to it. Which means that he's probably not gonna tell you his true reaction even if you ask him, which is probably why Spirit didn't want me to look at what he would say to you if you asked him what he thought about your message. Interesting, huh? You're quite welcome. Teresa, Teresa, Teresa. What kind of business do you have, Miss Teresa? That's gonna give me a little bit of context here. If there's anybody else who wants to have a question answered or wants a message from Spirit, you better put it in the chat right now, because right now, once I'm done with Teresa, I'm done, because nobody else is asking for a reading. Recruitment. Okay, thank you. What does Teresa most need to know about the near future of her business right now? Boopity doo doo, boopity doo, boopity doo doo. What is going on? Wow. Okay, well, we've got 2 Pentacles cards here. They're not my favorite Pentacles cards. Huh. Well, okay. So when I look at this, the very middle of the spread is interesting because we've got the back or that side of the Judgment card. This is what it looks like in the front. But this is this side of the Judgment card, or I guess I should say that side technically for this deck. That's how they would call it. You can see that the scales are kind of on the floor. The knife is there. It's almost like whoever's making the decisions and weighing out what's fair has gone on vacation. On vacation. It can be that there was some kind of legal judgment that was made that was not made in a fair or just way. And actually, if you look at this card closely, you can see there's a vine growing up around the sword. This justice has been on vacation for a while, man. And look, the sword is even going into a crack in the foundation. This is really interesting. I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm having a hard time focusing on your question because I'm thinking about all the stuff going on in our country right now and how justice is being really changed up. I am going to say there's something going on here that's not really fair, where your business is not being dealt with in a fair way. So I don't know if you have a legal judgment. This can also be about somebody else making a judgment call. This can be about a big client making a judgment call. Whatever's going on, this decision that is being made in a corrupt way that's not too nice. Okay. Now, the reason I started with that center one, it's my only card that's not a Pentacles card. And I think that the center card is actually really influencing my Pentacles cards. Because what I have coming up here, I have the Knight of Pentacles coming up in reverse. The Knight of Pentacles in reverse says, man, the budget is blown. We're blowing the budget. We've got too many expenses, not enough income. The budget on this business is not working. All right. Well, part of the reason it's not working was because of this unfair decision. Three of Pentacles really makes me wonder if this wasn't a client that made an unfair decision, because the Three of Pentacles talks about collaborating with somebody. And it talks about the idea that, you think you're going to collaborate with somebody and then they don't bring their part of the deal to the table. And so then the collaboration does not happen after all. I really think that your best advice here would be to look for other clients, because I think this one's going to take a dump. So I hope you've got more than just the one. But I think you're going to have to sort of cushion yourself, because they're big enough to show up in the spread. So I would say don't rely too much on any one client. Hello there, Yuna. Welcome, welcome. I'm fantastic. How are you? I'm alive. I'm breathing. I'm doing readings and Reiki. My YouTube's going viral. My client base is expanding and my life is good, good, good. Thank you. That makes sense? Okay. I'm glad. Glad to hear that. All right. So if anybody else in the room wants me to read for them, put your question in the chat. Or if you don't have a question and you just want a message from Sacred Spirit to see what they have to say to you, just put message from Spirit in the chat. Either way. Thank you for all the thumbs ups, by the way. There's another one there. I like it. I like it. As long as that someone, like, we're not going to do gossip about somebody, but somebody who influences your life, I don't mind taking a peek at. Somebody who has influence on your life. So like a boss, a family member, a romantic interest that you're not broke up with for like 3 months or something like that, Yeah, you can ask how they feel. Who are you asking about? I feel like my lips are dry and I just put on Carmex before I logged on here. You have to tell me who you're asking about. And I also want to know your first name. And while you're typing me your first name and their first name, I am going to tell you feelings are transitory. So if you want to ask about feelings, I'll be happy to answer that. But, 20 minutes from now, that can be completely outdated. Yusra Zachariah. Ooh, from Belgium. Yay. That's cool. I don't know if we've had a Belgian person in here for a while. When I was stationed in Germany back in the 90s, somebody told us about this place in Belgium where we should order our furniture. And so we actually drove to Belgium to this plant, and we got to pick out our furniture, which it was a completely different experience than you would have in the United States, because in the United States, you go to a place where furniture is already made and you pick out what you like, and then they send you home with, boxes and boxes, or they deliver it. And here they let us pick out the upholstery that we wanted, the frame that we wanted. Oh my God, it was such an experience. All right, so let's see here. How does Zachariah feel about Yusra off the top? And what does he think about her off the bottom? Head and heart connection. Feel. Think. Well, that's wow. We might have a self-esteem issue here. Have you noticed his self-esteem is not that high? All right, so let's look at how he feels. Boo, 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 boo. Yes, his self-esteem. We're looking at him. We're looking at him, baby. Well, I'm not looking at you. I figure you know how you think and how you feel about him. We're looking at him. So, how he feels. Whole new beginning, leap of faith, doesn't know where it's going to take him, but you guys have a whole new beginning. Look at this. Page of Swords. This is sharing information. So, this is more of an intellectual beginning than anything else. Queen of Wands in reverse. Yeah. He feels like this is really interesting. He feels like in the past you've kind of been a diva, like you've sort of led your men around by a string with a ring in their nose. That's funny. Now let's look at how he thinks. Here's how he thinks. He thinks he's going to stand his own. He is not about to be led around by a ring in his nose with a thread that you're holding in your hand. That's how he feels. He's going to be his own person and he's not going to be just like all gaga about you. All right. Funny. Now, we have the 2 of Cups in reverse. He thinks you won't like that at all. And he thinks you're going to cut communications with him as soon as you realize that he's not going to be led around by a thread attached to a ring in his nose. So he thinks you're not going to put up with him. And he's not going to cave for you. So you guys have some serious power plays coming in as far as he's concerned, and he's not about to cave on the power plays. So he thinks you'll just cut him off. Because he thinks that you're a diva in the past and that you're used to guys just doing whatever you say, whatever you want. He can see that. But he does see that you guys have a new start. He just doesn't see a happy ending coming up to this. He sees this as like watching a train wreck in slow motion is what it looks like he sees it as. Right? All right. So that's it for me for today. I've been here for like half an hour. Archana Rao, I'm not going to be doing any more readings today, but if you want to catch me live again, make sure you subscribe and hit your notification bell. And also make sure your notifications for YouTube are on your device. If you really need a question answered today, then you may want to book a private reading with me. You can do that at my website. That's in the description box below. And I will be happy to read for you. There's nothing I like better than reading, except maybe teaching other people how to tap into their intuitive abilities. So, if you need a reading, get a hold of me. And otherwise, I'll just see you guys back on the next video. Peace out. Thank you, Teresa. Bye, guys.